ever had people go missing in your life? We call it now ghosting, right? You know, this term ghosting. Isabel, help me with that. What does ghosting mean? Yeah, cold turkey silence. They disappear, they stop talking to you, they don't reply to texts and emails and phone calls and all that. They just ghost you, right? They disappear. And it's interesting because when you think about it, it's challenging. And maybe that's happened to you with a friend or with a relative or in a job situation. Maybe you had a school friend who was joint project. But we've all had people go missing in our lives. I mean, you can recognize that. And I want to speak to that because I think that those missing people, Jesus restores those relationships and steps in where people are missing. So I want to talk to you about that in a couple of different scenarios. The first scenario is in John chapter 4. This is the woman at the well. If you've been around me much, you know I'm kind of a junkie on her. I think she's phenomenal. And at the beginning of the story, Jesus is going through Samaria, and he stops at the well to get a drink of water, and his disciples go into the town to get lunch for him, and this Samaritan woman comes, is around noon. She pops up, and she's getting water, and Jesus says to her, "Give me some water." And her reply is, "How is it that you, a Jewish man, ask water from me, a Samaritan woman?" It's completely way unconventional. A man talking to a woman at this time, not happening, let alone a Jewish man talking to a Samaritan woman. I mean, this just doesn't happen. So the conversation starts, and it's, very interesting. There's dialogue, and Jesus kind of whets her appetite more and more. He says things that make her increasingly curious. Well, if you knew the gift of God who was asking you for drink of water, you would ask me, and I would give you living water. She's like, what the heck is living water? And if you drink the water that I give you, it will become a well of living. So, it's just this ongoing, she gets more and more interested and curious and engaged with Jesus. And of course, because Jesus is simply irresistible. Better than the song. So, but suddenly the conversation comes to a very abrupt halt because he says to her, go and, what fill in the blank? Go in, call your husband. So if you do the word count prior to this, she's chatty Cathy. And now she's suddenly silent Susan. I have no husband. 4 words. The missing man. The missing man. And Jesus says to her, you're right. You've had 5 husbands, and the dude you're with now isn't your husband. And I would propose to you that over the course of these relationships, she was trying to fix, solve, appease, help something inside of her. And what you find is that no man and no woman can fix something inside of you. The missing man. And over the course of this conversation, once Jesus says, yeah, you've had 5 husbands. She changes the subject. Well, let's talk about worship, because you Jews are very religious, let's go a different angle here. But I like the conversation because when Jesus talks to her, and they go on this whole religion conversation, worship, Jerusalem, all this stuff. And she says to him, we know that when Messiah comes, he will tell us all things. And I like that not only did Jesus show her deepest wound, missing chasm, but he also revealed to her who he is. I who speak with you am he. I am the Messiah. I am your missing man.